Another important is the class members. The class members can be static or non-static. The class members can be static or non-static. So what is meant by static and non-static? Generally, when we ask this question at a learner level, many people will give an answer saying that static members are accessible by using class name. Non-static members are accessible by using object, which is not about static and non-static. It is about how they are accessed. So generally the question was, what is static or non-static? What is static or non-static? But your answer many times, generally learner's answer will be static member, how it is accessed, non-static member, how it is accessed. That is the reason sometimes in interviews, the general interviewer who is not technically great, he also asks sometimes like, what is difference between public, private, protected and static, right? That means he will combine this static into access modifiers. That is all nonsense, because static is not related to accessibility actually, but our developers have related that to the accessibility. Static and non-static are not ever related to accessibility actually. Then what technically exactly what static and non-static? Let's see. Actually, the term static and non-static, the term static refers to a continuous memory. The term static refers to a continuous memory. Remember, in computers, the word static is used for memory, not for accessibility. Static and non-static. Non-static is also called as dynamic. Non-static is dynamic. Static and dynamic. And what is static memory? The term static refers to a continuous memory. You are talking about static and non-static means you are talking about memories, right? The term static refers to continuous memory. What do you mean by continuous memory? The memory allocated for an object will continue for other objects. The memory allocated for an object will continue for other objects. I will show you practically. It is a continuous memory. The memory allocated for an object will continue for other objects. So that is what actually static is in a simple point. So static and non-static are referring to memory. And the memory allocated for an object will continue for other objects also. continue for other objects also. So the members stored in a static memory are accessible by using the class name, are accessible by using the class name, are accessible by using the class name. So that is basically about static. I will explain in an example. We have to prove these terms also. So whatever we are mentioning as points, we need to prove these points. I will show you that. Now, what is dynamic actually? Dynamic, or you can say non-static. So the term non-static or dynamic refers to discrete memory. That means, so not continuous memory. That means the memory allocated for an object will be destroyed after the uses. That means the memory is newly allocated for every object. The memory is newly allocated for every object. The memory is newly allocated for every object. That is important for non-static. So it is discrete memory, not a continuous memory. Let's prove this point. And non-static members are accessible by using this keyword within the class, and by using object and by using object outside the class. So static and non-static members are these. So a static member is accessible only by class name. Within the class or outside the class, it is accessible only by class name. But a non-static member within the class, you can access by using this keyword, and outside the class, you can access by using an object of that particular class. Let's prove this point, and practically also we will see that. Actually, static and non-static are memories. For example, let's see one example here. So suppose we are having a main memory. So for a class, so we are having a class. For this class, the memory is allocated. So this is class some demo. For demo class, this memory is allocated. The main memory is allocated for the demo class.